I am now live. Good morning, everyone. I am doing a quick game review of Catan Online. Catan Online is obviously the video game version, which is available on Xbox, possibly other platforms, of a board game called Settlers of Catan. There are other versions of this and supplements to Settlers of Catan called Cities and Knights of Catan, Seafarers of Catan. There's even a Star Trek version of Catan, along with other spin-offs of this game. The purpose of this game is to be the first person to reach either 10 or 13 points, depending on what settings you have created. Right now we'll go into the local game configure. There are several different editions that you can have. You could do the base set, which is just straight up cities or Settlers of Catan. Win point on that is 10 points. There's also a Cities and Knights version. If you buy that, it generally becomes automatically enabled. We will disable that and do a base set. And as you come through, it loads up. You have a game board. You can choose random AIs. You can play this online. The issue with playing it online with multiplayer is there is a delay within the countdown that this company's designers really need to look into. It can be at a point where you end up having a lot less time in your turn due to animations, graphics, and other player decisions that are happening at the beginning of your turn. We'll go ahead and start this game. So you can do a randomized map. Excuse me. You have plenty of hexagonal placements. Each one is representing a certain type of resource. The overall goal of this game is to build up your civilization so you could get the most number of victory points as possible. And the game starts out with people placing settlements and roads. You want to look for the spots that are going to give you the best option for resources. The game helps you out with this by looking at the numbers. If you see the number of dots, the more dots you see, the higher the ability of producing resources are. So, they go in order. Everybody places one settlement, and then the last person to place their settlement in a road gets to place again. That is supposed to balance out. Perfect. The gosh, what's the word? It makes it more equitable for everybody. You know, that way you don't have the same person just placing at the same time. However, that does seem to put a advantage to whoever goes last, because you get to place yours twice, which is nice. The second placement lets you get the resources. So if you look at this board, which I can zoom in a little bit and zoom out, the graphics are kind of cool. Little extra in my opinion, but they're there. You've got several different types of hexes. You have the light green, which are sheep. You have a dark green hex, which produces wood, brick, wheat, and ore. They all go based off the background colors. I'm going to recheck that trade. And you have to produce those resources in order to actually build. The numbers that you see on the hexagonal game board, those correlate to the rolls obviously on a die that you all have been seeing. And, ooh, nice. Each die roll will produce resources if that hex is there. So if we look at this game board, there are 2 hexes that have a 4, and they both happen to be on sheep. Because I can zoom in. So that's a sheep. That's a sheep. Okay. Yep. And there's generally 2 numbers on the board for each one of the combinations. The only combinations that only have 1 number are the 2 and the 12. The most common number to roll on a die roll in a pair of dice is a 7. 7s are bad. Those rolls will make it so you have to discard half your hand rounded up if you have more than 7 cards. And they also move the thief. So we have a robber or a thief, which is standing in the desert. When a 7 is rolled, he will get to move. That will block production on a hex, and it will allow the person who rolled the 7 to steal a card from one of the other players. So the way your turn starts out, since I didn't get to go to first, I was able to talk. First thing you do is just roll the dice, and you see what those numbers are. And I just talked about a 7, and look at that. There's a 7. Right? So since I rolled a 7, I can choose a hex side. Now, who I steal from depends on who has a settlement on those hex sides. I am going to go here, and since the shepherd has more cards, I will steal from that player, which works out. After that, in most games you can build and trade at the same time. You have an option to trade, that's the Y button. You could do a domestic trade where you try to trade with somebody, one of the opponents, or you do a maritime trade by hitting the RB bumper, right bumper, and you could trade resources at a 4-for-1 rate. 4 of one resource can get you 1 of any other resource. There are ways to reduce that rate, pretty much by building on the ports. If you look around the edges, you'll see little ships that have 3-1, 2-1. That says 3 of 1 to get you 1 of any other, or 2 of sheep, or 2 of rock, or brick, whatever. So if you're not going to trade, you can always look and try to build. In order to build, you need to know exactly what you have. As you see on the bottom, there's a list of the items. You see I have 2 ore, 2 brick, 1 sheep, 1 wheat. I have 2 wood, sorry, I have 0 ore. Now if I want to look and see what the building costs are, all I have to do is push the red trigger, or right trigger, and it tells you. 1 wood, 1 brick is a road. A wood, a brick, a sheep, a wheat is a settlement. 2 wheat, 3 ore is a city. And since this is Settlers of Catan, we have sheep, a wheat, and an ore. Gives you a development card. So for someone who has no knowledge of this game whatsoever, I see that they probably should have put a little bit more explanation in that card. Just even if you go through the tutorial and learn it, chances are you might forget. So a little bit more wording would have been nice to let them know. Especially considering for a city, the one that says 2 VPs, you can only do that if you have a settlement to replace. So cities are upgrades to settlements. So when you have a settlement, if you want to upgrade it to a city, it'll cost you 2 wheat and 3 ore. And that increases from 1 victory point to 2. Right. So I'm going to build, which is the X button. I need to build a road. And I will build the road where? I am thinking I want to build the road right here for now. I have 2 options, 2 ports that I was trying to go for. I do have enough for a settlement, so I'm going to do that as well. and I'm building a settlement there. Since I've built a settlement, if I go back to the maritime trade, you'll notice everything went from 4 to 1 to 3 to 1. Right, that'll make it easier for me in the future. So now we'll just go ahead and play. Everybody takes their turn. They roll, produce resources, either try to trade, and if you can look at the bottom of my screen, you'll notice I have no resources, so I'm just going to reject. And then build if you can. Right. Now, I've been playing this game for a little bit. I did purchase this. This was about a $40 game when I bought it. And I also got the Cities and Knights expansion to go with it. So, for all in all, it's a good deal. The board game itself, which you could buy at Walmart or any other gaming store, really, just Settlers of Catan itself is like $43. Right. And then they also have expansions. It is a 2 to 4 player game. If you want to play 5 or 6 players, there are expansions to that. And I'm talking about in real life, not in the game, this game itself. I just rolled an 8, and I currently have a settlement that is adjacent to the wheat hex that has 8, which is right up here. I'll put that in the center now. Now with that said, that only gives me 1 wheat. Nothing I can do. I really don't feel like trading, so I'm going to pass my turn and see if I can get anything else going on. And let me turn off the trade, push in the left joystick. It makes it so I don't have to get asked about trading. I have nothing worth trading at this point. There's a 10. So that 10 roll is going to produce 2 wood and 1 brick for me, since I have 2 settlements on that 10 for the wood, 1 settlement on the brick. And a roll of 3 does nothing for me, but one opponent gets sheep, another opponent just got 2 brick out of the deal. Now this is the base game. Again, the winner is the first to get to 10 points. Points or victory points, you get those by building settlements, upgrading settlements to cities so you can build more settlements. Plus, there's 3 other ways to get points. The development cards could potentially give you a victory point if you draw them and it says victory point. Development cards also have other cards in them besides victory points. They have knights, which lets you automatically move a robber from one hex to another, so you can steal from people. It also has cards saying like Monopoly, where you could call for a resource and you get everybody's resource of that specific one if they have it. Road building lets you build more roads without having to pay resources for it, and other cards that help give you a boost in the game. There are the 2 other ways to get victory points are through having the longest road or having the largest army. Longest road means you have 1 continuous road of at least 5 units. First person to get 5 roads gets 2 victory points, and they hold on to those 2 victory points until somebody else builds a road that's longer. And it keeps going back and forth. Whoever has the longest road at the end of the game keeps those 2 points. Largest army, that's played off of knight cards. The more knight cards you have, once you hit 3 knight cards, if you're the first person to play 3 knight cards, then you get to have the largest army victory points. If someone obviously plays 4 after you've done 3, then they'll get it. Vice versa. Again, as long as you've played the most knight cards, you'll have the highest army. Now, what do I want to do? I want to roll my dice, since it's my turn. Pardon me for the tweeter. I need more water. Rolled a 10. There is my 2 wood and 1 brick. which is nice. So I am going to build. I will build a road. And I am going to build it right here. I'm not trying to get longest road at this point in time. I probably could if I really wanted to, but right now I just want to try to get some settlements and get some items going where I can produce more. I'm surprised neither of the computer players took that 6 hex all the way at the other side. Okay, so let me go back. Just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to see if the computer's crazy enough to give me a sheep for a wood. So I've got wood for your sheep. Alright, so I've got 2 of them. One person said no, the other 2 said yes. So I could choose which one to accept. I will take the guy with the least amount of victory points just because. And with that I will build, because now I could build a settlement right at the end of the road I just created. That leaves me with 1 wood left, so there's really nothing else I can do, so I will hold the B button and move on. And he rolls a 7 and they're going to stick the robber on me. No, they're not. What? Most strategy when you're playing this game is whoever has the most victory points, you place the robber on them. I would have thought they'd have placed the robber on me and stole the only wood I had, but they did not. So that's going to be interesting. Which is fine for me, I'm not going to complain. It's going to give me a chance to check some other things out. There's a 3. That doesn't do me any good. I'm going to hold on to all these cards for now and just see what happens. So, the danger of holding on to cards and not building stuff when you could build something is... I'll accept that. You know, you could get up to more than 7 cards, and once you get more than 7 cards before a 7 is rolled, you know, that runs the risk of having to lose cards. And no, sorry, I'm not giving you any more wood. And a 4, so that'll give me another sheep. 2 sheep. Since I'm on both sheep hexes that have a 4 on them, I get 2 sheep out of that. And this person wants to give me more sheep for wood. No, I'm good, thank you. Huh. Okay, well, if you're going to give me 2 cards, I will accept. And I know what Carla here's doing. She's going to build another... Nope. Alright. So the purple player, if you look, you'll see their 2 settlements and roads are leaning towards each other. I expected a road to be built there. Alright. No. I do not need your sheep. Alright. So Shepherd, if you look, has 4 roads connected right now. 1 more road and the Shepherd gets 2 victory points. And they'll go from 3 to 5. I am currently sitting on 9 resources. So that makes this a risky roll for me. And I get a 10, so hooray for me. Right. For those that don't know, 7 is the most popular number to roll on a paradise. It has the most combinations out of 36. 10s and 5s, actually 8s and 6s are second highest, followed by 5s and 9s, then 10s and 4s, and then 3s and 11s, 2 and 12. So let's see. I have plenty to work with. So what do I want to do? I'm going to do a maritime trade. I am going to dump both of my sheep, get 2 ore, use that to upgrade to a city. Now, I'm going to upgrade this settlement to a city. That's going to be better for me. And then, let's see, what do I want to do? I can attempt to be evil and see if I can block Purple's road. She's sitting on 7. It's possible she already has enough for a settlement where the 4, 5, and 11 are at the end of that second road. So, you know what? I will just do my game. Place a road there so I can get a trade going. And I'm going to leave it at that. Alright. Okay. I'll accept that. Okay. So now I've just been given enough resources for settlement on my next turn. And I'm going to just turn off my trading, make the computer move on. 5. Alright. And a 6, which does not do me any good. Alright, I am sitting at 7 cards, so I'm safe, so I'll just roll and not worry about it. And I believe we just got boxcars. Yep. A 12. Something nobody's on, nobody gets resources, so we're stuck with what I have. Build a settlement. Alright. And now that I have a settlement built, okay, sheep are 2 for 1. I got ore for 2 for 1 now. So I'm sitting pretty there. I am just going to go ahead and turn 2 in for a wheat just to reduce my card size. We'll move on. So now all I need, what I'll probably do is build across the top right there, connect roads there and get longest road that way. Assuming I could get a road in my favor. Oh. Carla's finally picking on me. Okay. That should be a 6 roll. Does me no good. This game in general can be an easy 30 minutes to an hour. If you play it online with other people, it will take longer. Mainly because you're waiting on them. They have a timer of like 75 seconds. And sometimes that'll reset depending on what they need to get done. Sometimes it'll continue to count down as everyone else is going and it'll mess you up. I do have an issue with this game, not really in the base set, but their expansion set, the Cities and Knights version. They have a card, there's a card called Trade Monopoly, where it lets you steal 1 commodity from your opponents, assuming they have that commodity. The problem is, the way it's programmed, it makes you follow that rule, but yet the AI characters, if they play Trade Monopoly card, and you see the Trade Monopoly card on the screen, they steal a resource. You know, that's the one biggest issue I have with this game thus far. So, But other than that, it's enjoyable. This is a nice calming game for the most part if you're doing it solo. Not exactly so much if you're doing it multiplayer, because then you're waiting for people to hurry up and all that stuff. So here's a development card that I just purchased. Year of Plenty. Take any 2 resources from the bank, add them to your hand. They can be 2 of the same resource or 2 different resources. So this is something that'll help me build. If I hit A to play a card, you'll notice I cannot play a development card the same turn it was purchased. That goes for everything. And in the base game, you can have as many development cards as you can buy. There's no hand limit for that, but you can only play 1 per turn. Okay, I'm going to say that's a 5. They just gave me a lot of ore. Yay. Oh, I got the robber there. I didn't get any order. Man. Computer sucks. Alright. But I did get sheep, so that's good. Alright. So, currently running into a slight issue with the shepherd. She's got 7 points. And now it's time to pick on her. Alright, so Carla just had to discard half her hand. Now, since the shepherd has the most points, we are going to place on hers. So she's down here. Usually you want to do the one that'll do the most damage. And I'm going to hit her, and I'm going to hit her. I'll turn that back on. Alright. So, I don't have any wood or brick. So let me build. I'm going to buy a development card. Awesome. So I've got the knight. I'm going to be using Year of Plenty. And with that, I am going to grab another wheat and an ore. And I'll buy another development card. I now have 2 knight cards, which is great. I'm going to turn in 2 wheat and make them an ore. I mean 2 sheep and make them an ore. Pardon me. Oh. Helps if you make sure you're in maritime trade, right? Alright. Now I only have 2 cards. I have 2 knight cards in my hand. And now I get a lot of ore. That's a 7 roll. And now they're picking on me, even though they should be picking on the shepherd. Now, at the beginning of the turn, when it comes up, you'll notice I'll have an option to play a card. Knight cards are the only cards you could play before you roll. And I will definitely be doing that. Okay, I don't need to technically because the robber's not on me anymore. However, I had some people picking on me, so I'll pop it right on the 6 there. And in this case, I'll steal from Gregor. And now I roll. Looks like a 6 roll, so I put it in the right spot. And now, if I try to play a card, I can't play more than 1 card, because technically, even before I rolled, that was my turn. So now I am going to trade, maritime trade. I've got 2 ore I'm going to trade it for a wheat. And I'm going to buy another development card. Alright, there we go. Alright, Monopoly. When you play this card, announce one type of resource. All other players must give you all of their resources of that type. To effectively use that card, you need to pay attention to what the rolls are before your turn. That way you know what you can steal. You also need to see what all they are using or buying. Right, so far it looks like wood is the way to go. Three. So that's a lot of brick. And then snake eyes, which is an ore for Carla. And then what we got going on? Alright, we got an upgrade of a city. So now she traded in away wood and stuff, so it's not necessarily going to do me good. So let's roll the dice and see what's happening. That's an 8. So we're looking at red and wheat. So I can either play the robber, or I can play Monopoly. Or I can play nothing. But I'm going to play Monopoly. I'm going to select the wood. Okay, now you don't see it in the graphics, so that part kind of sucks. But if you look, I do now have 6 wood. So I have 6 wood to do with what I want. Unfortunately, that 3 for 1 trade. Let's see if any of them are crazy enough to give me ore or brick for that. One person is, okay. I will accept that. And let's try that trade again. Nope, okay. Let's try 2 for 1. Okay. Let's try a wheat for 1. So there might not be any more brick out there. Ah! There is 1 more brick out there. Okay. There should be like 3 or 4 bricks out there, but... Alright, so with that, I can start building a road. I'm gonna build a road. And I'm gonna go this way with it. And I can't play the card, so we're good to go now. With a 6. He makes wood and that's it. And there was the road building. I'm not happy when they pick on me and I don't have the highest amount of victory points. Alright, I am playing the knight right now because I want to be able to roll. And I'm going to take from Carla, she picked on me. Now I roll. An 11. I don't have an 11, do I? I do not. So that doesn't help me. I can't do diddly squat, so pass the turn. And sometimes you will run into times where you just can't do anything and you just have to move on. Happens in the board game too. And if by chance you have a group that games together, I would highly suggest buying the board game, especially getting the Cities and Knights expansion to go with it. It is indeed a blast to play. So let's see. Alright, my turn. I roll with a 5. Well, that would give me a settlement or a city. If I wanted to do a city, it would give me a city. But I have a bigger issue. Alright. It is so easy to get 2 points. You always have to be aware of where your opponents are. So I am going to maritime trade, attack. Ooh, I can do 1. Alright, you know what? I'm just going to do it this way. I'll go ahead and build the settlement. I was going to try to connect my roads already, but I wasn't going to have enough. I really need a 10 roll. Oh, wonderful. I have the robber on me. Alright. 10 roll. Come on, give me a 10. Give me a... Okay, that's not a 10. That's a 7. Alright, so... I am just going to hit it on the 6 and steal from the highest person. And move my way on. Well, that hurts. Okay. Is that another 7? Alright. An 8's not too bad. I could do with that. That will let me build a development. Yay, okay. That's all I have. Moving on. These turns don't necessarily take a lot of thought. So if you play a game with someone and they seem to be taking forever, yeah. They did not think about it beforehand. Don't tell me he just won. He did just win. Well, I can't win them all. So, yeah, with the base game, if you get victory points, your opponents have no clue until you actually play them. Which, you don't play them till you reach 10 points. So, yeah, that's that game. So. And that one game alone took 40 whole minutes. you can go into Catan store and see what all they have. They have a season pass item. I didn't bother with that. Really, we're talking extra drip. Doesn't really mean worth anything for me. The helpers. So that's where you have like Shepherd and all this stuff. I don't use that a heck of a lot. Cities is night option. I did purchase that because I like Cities and Nights. To me, that's a little bit more exciting than the base game. Can be a little more frustrating as well because of the one glitch I mentioned earlier. We'll see if we can get that on video. And then a whole other season packs. You know, all it is drip. No one needs that in this game. Okay. It's not Destiny. I mean, come on. Alright, so let's play. We're going to configure another game out. I do not want to do multiplayer. Multiplayer for me just takes way too long. And if you notice, unlike when I came in the first time, the Cities and Nights here, it's automatically enabled. So if you don't turn it off yourself, every time you come in, it's automatically enabled. I have not tried the helpers before. I might do that with the base game later, but right now we're just going to move on. Alright, so I'm running the same people. Those are all the 12 people I think they talked about. And I have a lot of stuff, quote-unquote, locked. But I think that's mainly because I haven't enabled it. Alright. Next. Now, if you notice, there is a spot here. It says Enable Second Screen. This will let you scan a QR code, and you can take your iPad or your iPhone or Android and scan the QR code, and it'll actually connect to the server for this company, and it'll put your hand on the phone so you can look at that while you're playing. I tried it. It was okay. I prefer just to see it on the big old TV screen anyway. So this is Cities and Nights. Same basic setup. However, there's a few differences here. Besides the robber, we also have barbarians that come in. Okay, if you look at the right side of the screen, lower right side now, you'll notice a barbarian ship. After 7 rolls of that ship, it'll come and attack. We don't see the 3rd die here. In this version of the game, we actually have 3 dice that we roll. 2 are the numbers, and 1 is an event die. Based on that event die, it'll determine if the barbarians move a space, or if we get something called progress cards. The development cards are removed from the Cities and Nights game, and they're replaced with progress cards for city development. Now, this game's also different, as in you are expected to win by getting 13 points as opposed to 10, but there's a few extra ways to gain points. You also, instead of starting off with 2 settlements, you start off with a settlement and then a city. So, how do I want to play this? Placement's still the same. You try to place it where you can get the most bang for your buck. I am going to have a conniption. Okay. So when I do this, I always want to try to get everything if I can, or at least if I can't get everything, get to a spot where I could have an easy trade happening. I think, as much as I hate to have a 12, I'm gonna have to place it here for my settlement. I normally place my settlements where the wheat and the brick are, because in addition to the 5 resources we had earlier, oh, you just made my life wonderful. We also get something called commodities. So your sheep hexes, the wool hexes, the ore hexes, the lumber hexes, wood hexes, they will all produce commodities when you roll that hex if a city is on there now. On the previous game, a city gave you 2 of that resource. I failed to mention that before, but it does. It did. So now I just have to decide, do I go here with it, or do I go here with it? I want to go here. And yeah. All right. So the placement phase is usually the main time where there's going to be a lot of issue. All right. So I'm going to look here. All right. So you can see this is a much bigger list than what we've had before. And so you can see that the commodities are on the right side. I'm going to hit the counter so I can highlight. So this commodity is paper. This is what happened. This is what you gain from the wood hexes. This is cloth, and this is coin. I'm going to reject and turn off my trading for right now. Now, in this game, instead of having a single card that shows you what the trades are, we do have progress charts, which is what we have here. So we have 3 different city improvements. You've got the trade, politics, and science. To improve on these, you spend your commodities. And the number of commodities to improve increases by 1 each time. Now if you look on the left side of this screen where I change the highlighting, it'll also tell you all our production costs. The costs stay the same. Road is still wood, brick. Settlements, wood, brick, sheep, wheat. Upgrading a settlement to a city, 2 wheat, 3 ore. Now they add stuff. You could build a city wall for 2 brick. City wall lets your maximum hand size go from 7 to 9. A 2 card increase, and it does it for every city wall you have. You could have up to 3 city walls. The other thing you could build are knights. Knights are helpful because they help chase away robbers if they're activated. They also help you protect against the barbarians. Because when the barbarians attack, everybody has to protect against them. If we win, then they move on. Whoever contributed the most knights gets a victory point. If there's a tie, instead of a victory point, they get to choose a progress card. Right. And if you look on the right side, you'll notice that there's a little box. Like for Merchant Guild, there's a box there. You may trade any commodity at 2-for-1 rate. When you've improved enough so you've gotten the Merchant Guild purchased, you get that ability. You may promote strong knights to mighty knights. Okay, there are 3 different levels of knights: a regular knight, a strong knight, and a mighty knight. Each one is a promotion. And then my favorite one on the science side, if you receive no production on a turn and the roll is not a 7, you may take 1 resource of your choice. That one is the one that usually lets me win the best. Alright, so it is my turn. So I will go ahead and roll the dice. Alright, now we see the event die. Now, roll was a 5. Notice that one die is actually a different color. So, what this says is I had a green castle rolled and then a red 2. If I look at the progress cards, in science it doesn't say anything yet because I haven't bought anything. But let me buy that real quick. I'm going to come here. If we go to build, go to city development, I will buy for science because that's what I had. I will back up, hit that card, and we go back down to science. So now you see it. If I roll a red castle and the red die is either a 1 or a 2, I get a green progress card. And then the same thing would happen if you start buying the other stuff, so it gets you more bonuses. The thing about those progress cards, when it comes to cities and knights, you can only have 4 in your hand at a time, unless, you know, they're victory points, in which case they stay in your hand, but they're always face up. Alright, so what do I have to do here? I am going to build a knight. I am going to recruit me a knight, and I'm going to recruit it down here. Confirm, hold it, like that. Okay. So we need to get knights going, because if you look on the top left side of the screen, it has a 7 and a hexagon. That means we need 7 event dice to be rolled, saying barbarian. But the barbarian also in their little circle there says a green 4. That is their power. Currently, we only have a power of 1 itty bitty on our side. The right side is us, the knights. Red, 1. We're going to lose if they attack right now. We need to have at least the same number as the barbarians do. And for those that are wondering, that depends on how many cities we have in play. This is a 4-player game. Everybody starts with 1 city, so the barbarians automatically have a power of 4. Our power, the player's power, is determined by the knights that are activated. Currently, we only have 1 knight that is in play and 1 knight that is also activated, which is oranges right there that I have in the center there. All right. In order to activate a knight, you need a wheat. I'm going to see if someone will give me some wheat. Ah, that's nice. I will accept that trade. I will go back to build, go to knights. I can activate that knight, which means from kneeling, he stands. Ta-da! And there's that. There's nothing else I can do, so I will end my turn. And then we play. Right, so here we rolled a 9, and there was the event die of the barbarian ship. And they moved 1 hex. Now we rolled a 7 with that. Now in this case, notice the robber's still on the desert. In cities and night, the robber will not move on a 7 roll until the barbarians have attacked once. The rest of the rules for rolling a 7 still hold true. If you have more than 7 cards in your hand, you do have to discard half of them rounded up. What's this roll? Is it a 7? It is a 7. This stinks. Alright. Passing my turn. I would have thought with my 6 and 10 and 8, I would have had a little more rolls happening. Jeez. That's a 4. Doesn't help me any. That gave me wheat. Okay. Alright. So yeah, normally during the game itself I do keep the trade turned off because most of the time I'm not going to trade with the computer anyway. Alright, 8 with the blue castle. That stinks. Doesn't let me do diddly squat. I can build... So now I have an option. I can build a road or I can build a city wall. A city wall is not going to do me any good at the beginning of the game because I am not getting enough in the way of resources, unfortunately. So I will build a road. And I am going to bring it all the way down here. Because I'm going to move roads and stuff and see if I can't get myself a nice little lumber production area going. Oops. Hold B and let it rip. What do you say? 1 or 5? 2 or 5? 2 or 5. That is a 5. Okay. Still does me no good. Let me turn trading on. Take a look. There's the ship. And we got a 3. That's nice. She wants a brick. She'll give me a wood. I am going to accept that trade. And I will not accept that trade. And I am going to have to mute myself, I think. Alright. And the voice of Sothios is back. Let's see. Wood wants to give a sheep. Why would I want your sheep? I don't exactly have wood for your sheep. So you know what? Nah, I'm good. Alright. You want to give me 2 sheep now. But what good is sheep gonna give me? No, I'm good. I don't have any brick. And this is why I turn off the trading a lot, because they keep asking for stuff I don't have. Alright, finally a 6 roll. Oh, that's right. I've got to deal with that still. Alright. And I am turning off trading again. Here we go. Alright, so let's roll the cards. And a 7. That stinks. Alright. So now I have to move to the hex. Perfect. I will take from Carla. I will build... Now, the one thing when the barbarians attack, it deactivates all your knights, so you have to build, reactivate them, give them another wheat. Alright. And as y'all saw while I was stepped away letting the game play, we did not have enough knight power to beat the barbarians that first time, so they raised one of the cities, turned it into a settlement. That happens to whoever contributed the least amount of knights. So it's always a good idea to make sure you get that done correctly. Let's see, who wants to give me brick for ore? No one? Okay. In that case, I will move on. Roll of 3, that gives me sheep and wood, brick. So that's a good roll for me. So roll of 10. I could have used that last game a little bit more. And a 7. Shoot. Alright, so a 7's rolled. I have way too many cards in my hand. I have to get rid of half rounded up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ugh, that means I'm giving up a knight. I don't want to give up a knight. Shoot. Oh well. And they put the thief on me, huh? Alright. Now building that up. I've got nothing. And I don't dare chase that robber away because we've only got a few rolls until... So now I'm going to go ahead and build a city wall. And I wish I had that built earlier, but it is what it is. Okay. Alright, so let's see. I do have a cloth. I needed one more to do anything there. And in case anyone's wanting medicine, if I had 2 ore and 1 grain, I could get a city out of that. But I do not. So let's see. I can trade, pay the cloth for something if I wanted. We're good here. Yeah. And that's the reason why I didn't chase the knight away without having extra paper. Alright. So, now we win. It's a tie between 3 of us. I did not get to see what those colors were. Blue and something else. So, normally I would go for the green, but when I'm playing against a computer, they tend to try to be a little bit more cutthroat. Yep, that's what I thought. So, I'm going to go ahead and hit that one. better. Alright. 6. Shoot. What? You took my... Yep. As you saw, there's a card out there in politics that Spy lets you steal another progress card. As long as it's not a victory point. Alright, so... Now I play the Deserter, which means I get her Night Nail. Alright, so I'm going to build, and I'm going to activate that Knight. And there's still nothing I can do, so I have to move on. 10 roll. Alright, that's 2 wood. So that's nice rating right there. That's another thing I don't like. They don't let you see a history so you can double check what's going on. At the very least, they should do that in a solo game like this. A roll of a 5 still does me 0 good. Thank you. Alright, so I am going to roll. I'm going to hate that it's a 6. I am going to play a card. Let me build. Chase a robber away. And we will put the robber right there, and I am going to steal from Carla, who just gave me wheat, which is perfect, because I will use that to reactivate the knight. And I don't need to worry about using anything else, so let's move on. That's a 10 roll. That's not bad. That's an 8 roll with a ship. I'm good with that. That's a 9 roll with a ship. I don't have a 9. And then I can roll again. And that's a 5. No ship. Alright. So I'd really like to be able to build a settlement right now. All I really need is a sheep because I can get the wheat easy enough. Let's see if anyone will trade. No? Alright. Hate to do it this way, but I'm not getting it yet. No? Wow. Alright, let me play irrigation. It's only going to give me 2, but maybe someone would like that. Ah, there we go. It's fine. I still had both nights activated, so that's good. Build, buildings, settlement, right there. Alright. So now all I need to do is try to make it so I could build a city right there. I got nothing else to do, so move on. Looks like a 9. Nope, an 8. That's better. Okay, so give me a road. There's the 9. Guess what I don't have? I don't have a 9. Oh my god! Alright. Resource monopoly. They steal... Try to steal ore, nobody has ore. Haha! Sucks for you. Alright. Another 9 with a ship. And I'm getting a victory point because it's just me and Gregory with knights. I got power 2, he's got 1. Alright, my turn. Roll the die. That's a 10 with a ship. But I get like 3 wood. And awesome. Now I will build city development, science center, aqueduct. Whoop, whoop. Alright. So because I have the aqueduct, now if I don't receive anything, it's going to ask me if I want to take a resource. And the answer to that will always be, hell yeah! So now, we got 6 rolls. Let's see. And I just took the longest road, so sorry. And I don't have anything else, so ship with a 4. That's good. Should get me a card. Yep. Oh, sweet. I got mining. Would you like to gain a resource? Yes, I would. Which resource? I will take the wheat because I need to activate some knights. Rolling a 7. That's the other thing I don't like about this game. The computer's always, if they pull that card, the alchemist card, I always choose to roll a 7 for some weird reason. It makes no sense. Alright, rolling. Speaking of 7s. I'll put it right back there, take it from Stina, and I'll get my paper back. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to play a card. I'm going to play mining. And then I'm going to play a card, and I'm going to do medicine. And now I can choose. Now I was going to do the 610 because that'll get me more paper, but I've got where I need right now. So I'm going to put it on the 842 so I can get more brick and more wheat if a 4 is rolled. That makes the most sense right now. And then I can build by activating a knight, which will be that one. And let's see, I still have 2 ore. Is any of the computers dumb enough to trade? Yep, okay. And with that, I will activate the other knight. Would I like to gain a resource? Why, yes, I would. I'll take the wheat, thank you. Good. So, here's going to be the fun part about this. They are starting to roll the barbarian ship. Now, if you notice, the barbarians have much more power than we have active knights at this point in time. Right, so that means we're going to lose if I roll the barbarian ship. However, that's not going to be a loss for me. That'll be a loss for Orange. Because Orange still has a city, but they have no knights to protect them that are activated. Shame on that computer. Roll it. Ooh, big ol' whammy. 7 and the barbarian ship. That sucks. So, 2, 1, and nothing. So Orange loses their city. And then I get to move the robber. Not that I want to. I liked it where it was, but let's see. I currently have the most points. Fancy that. I will put it there between those two. Eeny, miny, meeny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe. If he hollered, let him go. You are not it for the rest of your life. Oh, she had more resources anyway. Okay. So there's that. Now, trade maritime. 2 for 1. I can get me a sheet. Confirm that hole. Build, building, settlement. Right there. Alright. So I'm kind of sitting pretty right now. Have no need to do that. We've reset, so... Oh, there's that 10 again. And there's an 8. And there's the 7. Ooh, I think I have to discard. Darn it! Alright, yeah, I don't want to get rid of my paper because I wanted to go up one more with that, so. And of course she stole my paper. That sucked. And there's a 7. Now put it back where I wanted it. Take from her. Alright. And I am gonna build me a road. I'm gonna go this way. Not much else I can do now. A 5. And I get a progress card. Yay! I ended up getting a victory point. Nope, I got Saboteur. Someone else got the victory point. Okay. Yes, I do want to gain a resource. It's always going to be wheat. Because I need that to activate my knights. And you just stole my Saboteur. Sometimes you really hate the computers. Not that I was going to be able to use the Saboteur. Nobody had the same amount of points as me. And here's a 7, and you're going to steal my wheat. Nope, you stole my paper. That sucked too. And that's a 4. Okay. I can dig it. And I roll. I get a 9. 9 doesn't do diddly squat. Yes. Okay, I don't need to worry about wheat now, so we'll do that. And we'll activate the knights. Alright. Yes, I will gain a resource. I'll go with the sheep this time. Didn't block my 6 this time, that's nice. Oh, well that sucks, you took my wheat. Alright, now they pick on me again because I'm in the lead. Block my 6. Roll. Okay. I am going to do build, knights, chase the robber. Pop it right back there again. I'm just gonna build. I'm gonna activate the knight. So, okay. Let's see. Anyone want to give me brick? I will give you 4. No? 2 for 1 trade. No? Give you a coin. I don't want to give you paper, but I'll look at it. Oh, okay. So they all suck. Not much I can do there. Okay. So I will play a card. Food building. The road there. Wait, that's... Okay, I was about to say, what the heck? That's a little bit of a delay in the system. You know what? I am going to build a road there as well. So now we've got that. Nothing I can do with those. And... Alright, well, let's just do this. I'm gonna get a victory point. Alright. 7 roll, yay! Come steal from me again. There's the ship and the 7. They're gonna steal from me yet again. Even more so now because I've got like the most victory points. Alright, so my concern right now is I'm looking at Stina. If you look down there, bottom left corner, it says 6 and then a red 3, blue 6, red 3. She's got 6 resource cards in her hand, commodities, and a lot of progress cards. It's my turn. Alright. Another deserter. Okay. Build city wall. And then activate that night. And just because I can, I'll take it Stinner again. Okay. That's the end of that turn. Alright, so here we go. 9. Doesn't help me there, but I do get a resource. Yes, I will take it. That one. Wedding. You're a loser. Here, you can have a coin, and you can have a brick. Yep, and he just got 2 extra victory points. Metropolis. So just so people can see, when you get to the 4th level, where it says like Cathedral for the blue guy there, that gives you, it lets you change a city into a metropolis, which is then protected from being razed. So yeah. Also gives you 2 extra victory points. So if I could get enough paper, I'd be able to take care of that. Seriously. What a punk. What a punk. What a punk. Right there. Trade monopoly should not be taking wheat, and it took wheat. That is a major issue. Sent an email about it before, and they just screw it all up. Because if I were to play this, see? So quite frankly, that is the only issue really I have with this game for the most part. I mean, it's the one issue they really ought to fix. And yet for some reason they don't want to. I don't know why. So, alright, I cannot play a card. I'm done building. I have no more resources and I have all my knights, so let's go. Yes, and wow, you played the Warlord card and you only had one knight. Okay. Alright. Alright. I can potentially win this next turn. Let's see. 10. Yep, I win. Alright. Okay, I have a couple ways I can win this. I can trade in my 2 wood for an extra paper and get a metropolis. That gives me 2 points, which will put me straight at 13. Or I could build a settlement and take the merchant card. I wonder. I'm going to go for 14 points. That's probably the max. So I'm going to steal the merchant from somebody. The merchant, I'm going to put it right. Put it on the wheat. Alright, the dude that walking, that's the merchant. He actually gives you a victory point. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade. I already have 2-for-1 trade for wood. So I'm going to put that into paper. And then I'm going to build a city development. I'm going to buy the theater. And it's going to say, hey, turn something into a metropolis, which will be that one. Gives me 2 points. Lets me have 14 points. Congratulations to me. Boom. I win. That game itself took a little bit longer than Cities and Knights. That one was almost about an hour. So not too shabby. But yeah. So that's Catan Online. The 2 versions of it. Like I said, I haven't tested out the helpers. I'll look at that at a different time. My main thing for recording this is so I can put it on YouTube. So Theos Gaming on YouTube. This will be the first video on there, and as everyone will probably comment, it will be horrible, but hey, it is as good as it is. Alright, hopefully I'll be able to edit it before then. So, alright. But with that said, it's time for a break. I need to get some food and stretch a little bit. So, thank y'all for watching, whoever watched, and have yourself a wonderful day. I may be back later. Might be back later to play some more. But we shall see.